következő és egyben utolsó játékunk pedig Funeral, a temetés. Cracks Game Studios első EGY-n kiadott játéka. Reméljük nem lesz túl hosszú, mert már este 11 van. Úgyhogy... Preferences. Text begineljen túl gyors. You are in this bleak funeral home amidst a few other people. Jó, lehet egy kicsit gyorsabb. Do you know them? They look familiar, but you're not sure if you've ever seen them before. It is maddening, this sense of familiarity. For some reason, you are certain that you ought to be knowing who they are. Mégis, miért nem emlékszel a neveikre? The funeral service appears to not have started yet. The mourners stand before the casket, nameless and lost in thought. And who are they mourning? Why are you even here? The coffin is sleek and of dark ebony, the coffin of a poor man. The picture atop it, that face. Is that your picture? Ooh. A sense of alarm and disorientation grips you. What is happening? How could your photo be atop the coffin? A knowledge rises, like the rising of some dark tide. A horrific memory that it recedes before you can identify it. You turn to the mourners. Just a handful of people, really. About 4 or 5 hanging back in the shadows. Only 3 people are in the front row. Az első sorban 3 ember. Clearly the dead man wasn't very popular. You approach as 3 nearest the coffin. They look at you unseeingly as if they are looking past you. In her 50s, bearing an air of faint sorrow. Her eyes are distant, testament to a lifetime of grief. Again, there is a sense of aching familiarity. You are certain that you know her, but that knowledge is locked away somehow, and you're unable to get it. Valahogy is nem tudod elérni. Beside her, a young man in his 30s, a guarded expression and an air of restlessness. As if he would much rather be elsewhere. The sight of him troubles you, but you are not sure why. Beside him is a pretty young girl in her 20s. Her expression is subdued, thoughtful. The sight of her inexplicably strikes you like a blow. It takes some effort for you to regain your composure. Just as you approach them, a strange thing happens. You're not sure what just happened. The world seemed to fade away for an instant. Now you find yourself standing before the woman. She does not acknowledge your presence. But here's an incredible thing. She does not open her mouth, but you can hear her thoughts as if she were speaking. What dark magic is this? It was so sudden. But now that I think about it, it's not so surprising. All these years they talked about his own death. A night came about in a way none of us expected. És úgy jött el, ahogy senki sem számított rá. Hogy halt meg? It was terrible. He'd always been scared of a violent death, but at least it was quick. Although she does not directly respond to your question, her thoughts shift in the direction of your prompt. He'd always been terrified of suffering, of having some kind of nearly fatal accident, and then living with pain, or living as a vegetable. This urge, he was always afraid of that, of ending up a vegetable and then having to physically rely on someone just to be alive. So I'm glad that he went abruptly. It was instant death. Sajnálom. The grief comes and goes. I still can't believe he's gone. Even after all that passed between us. You sense her fast shifting to the young man and woman beside her. I'm more worried about them. They've had to put up with a lot. Matthew was already growing distant. He was warm for a while when he first arrived, almost like his old self. Now he's gone back into his brooding shell, like father-son, like father, like son. At least Priya is towing a little. Lehet, hogy mi vagyunk az idősebb nő férje, vagy mi voltunk. Her thoughts fade away for an instant. It's incredible how one incident can destroy everything, tear a family apart, and keep us apart, all those years ago. És még mindig kísért minket. Matthew és Priya, a gyerekeid? Matthew was such a wonderful little boy. How he adored his father, worshipped him really. And Priya, God, Priya was his princess. All of that an illusion so rudely torn away. Mi történt velük? I realize now I've been avoiding thinking about that for a long time. Maybe that's how you survive. You clamp down on the hurtful memories, lock them away in a box and never open it and never look in. Sose nyitod ki és sose nézel bele. Because if you do, they'll chef at you until you break. Maybe not that he's gone. It's time to open that box and look at the terrible stuff in there. Maybe I should no longer run away from it. Her words evoke a sense of bitter agony. You want to reach out and comfort her, but you hesitate. Wouldn't that be inappropriate? There's that maddening feeling of familiarity again. An ache that seems to tell you that you know this woman. And another emotion threading through the sorrow. Shame. Érzem, ami átszivárog a bánaton. Szégyen. Nem szeretnék kérdezősködni. Kíváncsiskodni, de mi történt? Even as you ask a question, a deep dread fills you. Maybe you don't want to know the answer. Maybe you should not even ask. The woman sighs deeply, and you sense grief bubbling up inside. A wellspring of it so powerful that for a moment you fear you will be drowned in it. Félsz, hogy belefulladnál. Before you can catch your thoughts. Yourself standing before the young man. His hands are tugged into his pockets and as he stares at the casket. He seems oblivious to the others around him. Hopp! Tudom elolvasni? Igen. Most beszéltem anyáddal. He looks up, startled, looks around. He does not look directly at you. He does not acknowledge your presence. For some reason, this does not offend. In fact, weirdly, for reasons you cannot understand, he seems the most natural thing in the world. Nem érted? Úgy tűnik, mint a legtermészetesebb dolog a világon. As before you hear his thoughts, as if in response to your question. I could have sworn I heard something. I must have been hallucinating. I guess that's what not sleeping for 2 days does to you. Soon as this is over, I head back to the room, pop a couple of VS and get knocked out. Visszamegyek a szobámra, felpappantok néhány VS-t és kiütöm magam. No, I'm not sure I can. What with all these thoughts? It's amazing how she can grieve over him at all. That she still won't say a bad thing about him after all he's done. Mom's barely holding on, but she's not going to show us that, as usual. Aggódik, érted? She's always worried about us. That's how it's always been. That's part of the problem. She thinks that's why she hid the truth from us, but I think she was mostly just hiding the truth about him from herself. Elrejtelte az igazságot róla, saját magától. A part of me is guilty, thinking I should be grieving over him. He was my father after all, and then another part of me, the larger part, doesn't care at all. A nagyobbik része egyáltalán nem érdekel. Do I really feel anything? Any loss? It's strange. I feel nothing. That's such an awful way to feel about your father's death. What is it really? When was the last time I spoke to him? Maybe 4 years now. Talán 4 éve beszéltem vele utoljára. I'm not angry. I think the years have softened the anger. I'm just apathetic, really. When I got the call, it was almost like Ma was telling me about someone else's death. A stranger's. Mint ahogy valaki másnak a haláláról beszélne egy idegenéről. He was has anger, even frustration in his thoughts. His mother shouldn't he be beside her, comforting her? But there seems to be some kind of distance between them, an abyss that is impossible to cross. He seems to pick on your thoughts. But part of me does wish I could go to her. But where do we start? It's too far gone. And it's all because of him. Anyád utalt valamire. Buzzing fills the world and his next thoughts are drowned in it. The world is fading away, a memory rising. You know this place. You have been here. You... Ooh. A horrific image. A memory. Standing before the girl. She's deeply stirred within. A measure of relief fills you. At least one of them is grieving the man in the casket. Yet looking at her fills you with unexpected and surprising sorrow. You want to reach out to her, hold her, tell her that all will be okay, but you know you can do it. Jó lesz minden, de tudod, hogy nem teheted. You don't even know her. Don't you? Don't you know her? Are you sure? Why does she invoke such grief in you? You want to ask her if she loved the man in the casket, but that would be a terrible thing to ask at a funeral. But it's a good question. Did she? Jó ötlet. Szerette? Why are you here? And who are these people? And why does your not knowing the answers to these questions not bother you? In fact, now you feel very calm, except for the ebbing and flowing under tides of sorrow. You're mostly at peace. Nagyon sajnálom. She sniffles and does not acknowledge your words. That should have struck you as rude, but it doesn't. I can't believe she's gone. I can't believe it. And so suddenly and in such a terrible way. At least he didn't suffer. Mom saw the body and she said his face. What was left of it looked so peaceful, almost like he was sleeping. It's the strangest thing. I never thought I'd feel this terrible, and now look at me. I guess it goes to show. When he was alive, we barely talked, except for those occasions I called. I think I had hardened my heart to him. Maybe that's what happened. I put up a wall, and now that he's dead. Ez néha megtörténik. She does not respond and stays lost in thought. Pontosan mi okozta ezt az egészet? To think that it all goes back to that one moment. Everything would have been different if only that hadn't. Mit tettünk? A burning sensation fills you. An urgency. It is imperative for you to find out what happened to his family. To this family, what has broken them apart. Your very soul seems to depend on it. Az egész lelked múlik rajta. You find the woman, their mother, standing slumped. She stares off into the distance. Tudnom kell, mi történt. She looks straight through you. Her gaze is haunted. He'd been at it for years. I never even knew. But that's a lie, isn't it? I knew. Of course I knew. I knew, yet I didn't allow myself to know. I kept it a close secret because my biggest fear was that the children would find out. Legnagyobb félelmem volt az, hogy a gyerekek megtudják. I didn't want them to know what kind of man he was. And so I stayed quiet. Through all those nights when he was away on his supposed business trip. Late at work, at meetings, I told the kids that their father was a busy man. Gyerekeknek, hogy az apjuk egy elfoglalt ember. And that was how it was, wasn't it? That's the way. He's busy. He's busy earning a living. Busy, always busy. I saw him about once a week during school days. And most weekends, he wasn't there. Egyszer láttam egy héten, amikor iskola volt. És hétvégenként nem volt ott. I guess it was normal for most such kids. You got used to it. You went to a school where everybody's dad was some big shot away most of the time. And we bought it. That's the awful part. We bought it hook, line and sinker. Ma, dad's going to miss out on PTA again. They want to see him. Your dad's busy, honey. He's a busy man. Látni akarja. Apád elfoglalt ember, aranyom. Apád elfoglalt ember. Until... Princess, that's what he used to call me. Princess. I used to wait to see him, to get the gifts, the hugs. I would wait to smell his cologne. I used to wait for that. Mindig vártam rá. I loved him. We all did. And then, when it happened, it all blew up on his face. In his face. It had to happen. He'd been sleeping with too many women, you see. Mainly by coercion. Coercion, it appeared. The big CEO of multinational corporation. It was bound to go wrong. You can't hide the truth forever. That horrid woman, Lara, that awful phone call, she spilled it out. And another woman came forward at his workplace. That whole Me Too movement thing, harassment. I tried even then to hide it, but the boy has to live with something like that. Going to school, 8th grade, your dad's name in every paper. Hashtag me too, bitches. They crucified me. Even those teachers, they screwed with me in front of the whole class. Szarakodtak velem az egész osztály előtt. Son of a rapist, molester junior. The names kept coming. I think that's when Matthew began shutting us out. And all the stories started coming together. My dad was really up to all those business trips. What they actually were. And azok az üzleti utazások, és hogy valójában mik voltak. És anya tried to protect them from it till the very end. She never told us the truth. He was a liar. That's what he was. 6 months, that's how long it took to lose everything. After he lost his job, the house, the fancy perks, the kids had to leave the private schools. And then, privát iskolákat, és akkor, after they got divorced, it was over for us. Matthew couldn't wait to leave home when he finished college, and I don't blame him. He never looked back once. He never forgave them. Either of them. Megbocsátottál neki? It wasn't Ma's fault. But we were just kids and she didn't know how to deal with the fallout. The relatives, the haranguing, the press, she shut us out too. Sajtó. Minket is kizárt belőle. Megbocsátottál neki? I want to forgive, but he ruined our lives. Or for lies for something so cheap. For sex? You stand before her and you feel a terrible sense of shame. And of course, you know why. You know from the beginning. You know who is in there. The dead body that lies within was once yours. They weep. They stand apart. They are broken. And you broke them. Wow. Wow. Ez baromi jó volt. Azért megnézem, hogy... Tényleg nem tudom, hogy magát a sztorit konkrétan... Szóval Harvey Weinstein féle nyomorék mennyivel inspirálta? Ja, a MeToo mozgalom 2019 kb. Valószínű. Ez a fényleg a családját is tönkretette ezzel természetesen. És a nyomorék Epsteinre meg inkább nem is mondok semmit, mert kiballolna a Twitch. Passzoljon meg az is. De lényeg ez nagyon jó volt, és csak 9 ember értékelte. De tényleg a narratív horrorok közül ez tényleg nagyon jó volt. És igen, ez volt volna a Fury-ról levő játék, Crux Game Studios első játéka. De nagyon érdekes volt az egész sztori, hogy kibontakozott az egész, hogy mi mégis kik vagyunk, és mit tettünk, ugye, ami végül a halálunkhoz vezetett. Crux Game Studiosnak ismét jártas, mert ismét lenyűgözött a sztoriával, és kicsit sem untam. Nagyon érdekes volt elejétől a végéig olvasni a gyászokat, de azt hittem, hogy valami teljesen más dologra fog kifutni, de ez konkrétan a MeToo mozgalomról szól, és hogy az ilyen szörnyetegeknek, ugye, ugye nem csak a molesztált színésznők, meg a megrontott gyerekeknek az értettek tönkre, hanem a saját családjuknak is. Azért tényleg reméljük a következő évtizedekben Hollywood is gyökeresen megváltozik. És az én nyomorultaktól kigyomlálódik az egész szakma. De az még nagyon sok idő kell. Szóval tényleg ez a játékos is jár, a tapsa az elején nem volt. És ennyi lett volna. Már ez a 3 hétfői horror kedden bepótolva. Ne felejtsetek el lájkolni, feliratkozni, diszlájkolni, bekövetni, amit akartok. És hát ugye, vigyázzatok, amikor West Grove városába próbáltok beköltözni egy költöztető cég által, mert lehet, hogy a saját temetésetekre is jegyet tudtak váltani. Na, szevasztok!